Y'all want this party started, right?
Did you say potty?
Yes.
We better start from the beginning.
Dude, this is kind of flush.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, hello. Welcome to the Unprinted Pages podcast. I think I've got the right show this time. So Patricia Harris went over to Hell's Dungeon this last couple of times, and then she found some honors, and then she asked them to write stories, and then she went all over the world, and she found writers in Australia, in New Zealand, all over the country. And so now we have these two amazing anthologies. And with me today, of those people, we have the Pile, the Raz, and the Dell. We are going to get her in the next anthology. She will be with us then. But as of right now, she's here to be our moral support, and we missed her, so we talked her and Ratatosker into coming on as long as they can. Hi, Pile. Hi, Raz. Hi, Dell. Hi, Ratatosker. How's it going?
Well, it's going good for me, considering you can't see me. You can't see me.
Stefan, yes, we say things like fuck. It's fun.
Yes, we do. We have a wide range of vocabulary.
Question for the audience. Can you guys see Pile? Because Pile can see Pile, but we can't see Pile.
Yeah, that's because he's John Cena. Or maybe I am, because I don't even have, my name is not even listed, so I must be John Cena today.
According to the internet...
I figured you were just the ghost with the most,
No.
man.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it shows up exactly the way you guys say it does. I've checked the book of the face and the U of the tube.
Well, the Invisible Man is a great costume to go in, but sadly Halloween has passed. Although I do not object to you continuing the celebrations at all.
Just for clarity, we are just getting started because now we get to celebrate the beginning of the countdown.
I don't know, Halloween, haunt season, all that doesn't really ever end for me at this point. It's just all one day, one giant day that I take naps, about 300 or so times.
Alrighty.
So this is a new treat that StreamYard is providing for us free of charge. Randomly not showing people.
It did me that way for about 5 podcasts in a row, or 6. And then suddenly it started accepting my camera.
It started not accepting mine again, which is when my camera's not up. I have to do some shit with my phone to make it work. It'll work on my computer, but I'm at home, so.
No, okay. I'm just
I never used to
grateful
have
you're
that
here.
problem with my phone. It's weird.
You can
I don't
also
know. It's
sometimes,
weird.
depending upon your browser, play, hey, which settings on my computer did you change? Why does my mic not work anymore? Oh, that's why. It's fun. It's a great time. That's why you always show up early. Try to fix it. But anyway.
I'm not fixing this. This is awesome. I've tried so hard not to show my face so many times. It's just working out for me.
That works.
You guys are here to celebrate a book.
2 books.
2 books.
Killing Stroke, Bloodbath, Imminent Bloodbath. I have them on screen and I can't see anything. And Buried Secrets. Those are the 2 newest anthologies that came out on Halloween. It has my ode to the Raz, and it has a story Pyle was so confused that anybody would want. And of course, Raz's story has been made into this exquisite audio by Dark Tales for Chilling Nights.
Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. You're close.
Chilling Tales for Dark Nights.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I'm back. My brain is not here.
You're fine.
So
I never was.
And the song was amazing, and then the extended song was amazing. I love the story.
Good song.
And so let's start. Okay, who wants to go first, gentlemen? Pyle or Raz?
Oh,
Raz, go ahead. I need to compose myself.
Okay.
I can't see myself on the internet, and I can flip everybody off, and you guys can't see it.
Yeah, same.
So, tell us a little bit about your story, Raz.
My story is crafted of words.
Yes, it is crafted of words, and it is at Lost Creek.
Yes, this is another story at the Lost Creek campgrounds on the edge of Riverside, Ohio. Just another of my Riverside stories in general. Also, it is the weird, low-key introduction of a new character that you'll see popping up from time to time. He's mentioned only in the beginning, I believe. It's the curator who finds these odd and strange things and displays them in places.
Interesting.
Okay. And he goes on this adventure or I don't know if you'd call it an adventure. A life-changing event happens, or many.
Yeah, it's like a story and a story and a story. It's an interesting situation where you've got this guy that has found out about this insanely terrible story and found this diary, right? And as he's reading it, he's discovering a story within that based on a story that was found in another journal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It gets very meta.
It's in a weird way, though, because you find out eventually that the original diary was found by this guy named the curator and stuck in the Riverside Historical Museum. So there's the mention of that. The Historical Museum has not been mentioned since I'm wanting to say it was the re-release of the Mine, which sounds as Crimson 1 in the very beginning. It mentions the Riverside Historical Society, which will get mentioned again in the future. There's plans for that. But yeah, this was just a really fun story to tell. I had written a version of it a long time ago that was much, much shorter than this thing, not even a third of the length of what this became. And this is really hard to explain. I don't do a lot of human on human horror typically, although I find humans to be the most horrifying monster of all in most situations. So this was more of a cult slash serial killer type of story, I would say. I did loosely base it on a serial killer. Well, perhaps more than one serial killer. The Zodiac.
Very nice. I was just watching something on him the other day.
That is epic. And this song that I hope everybody, I shared it on my Friday page and it's on his stuff. Tell us about the amazing, like, it's one of the way they sung it was like, it just stays with you.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful
man.
song you made.
So this whole story started with just the lyrics to this song and a concept based on an old story from actually nearby Riverside in real life about this community that, before Riverside was officially Riverside, there was this small community of people that gathered and it grew over time. And this giant flood came through the area and it killed some people. It washed away everything they had. But not understanding how science and things like that work, after a flood, a ground becomes more fertile. So the crops are bigger, they're better, there's more wildlife that came around their camp so they can feed themselves. And they ended up building these like shacks, which turned into small homes. Um, and they had these cycles where anytime the river came in, suddenly now there was a religion based around the river to where, the river give and, the giveth and the river taketh away. And they would sacrifice people by getting in the water, and they would sing this song and reveal their sins, and the river would take someone and that would appease the river until the next cycle. The song was never written down or recorded in any way. It's from a long time ago, so no one knew what the actual lyrics to this song were. So I thought, what if I wrote these lyrics? And that sort of was the initial basis, the concept for the cult that came up around it. And then when after I wrote the story and gave it to Patty, my friend Craig Roshek over at Chilling Tales got a hold of me. He was looking for another story, and I thought, well, I actually have a perfect story right now, and he was looking for one of a longer length. So that kind of worked out, and he fell in love with the song, and he actually reached out to some musicians and had 2 different versions of it recorded. Then he sent it to me, wanted me to pick which one to play where, and then it created this whole giant production around it. It was kind of the biggest process I think whirlwind wise that I've ever experienced in audio creation is something I've done. So that was super cool to do a whole song starting all this, and coming from a musician background, that was even cooler for me.
That is very cool.
That
I need to listen to this song now.
Yes, please. I've shared it in so many places. I love the story, reading it, and then I loved what they did with it on Chilling Tales.
Yeah.
Raz
you could
made great
you could
story.
screen share it and play just the song.
I just want people. What
Okay.
I would like you to do is go see where I've shared it. And hold on. I haven't figured out how to get the audio to come through from my side.
Oh,
That's the
right.
problem. I keep on this whole new setup. That's why I'm saying no. Because with the new setup, I haven't figured out the right configuration to let me do it. But I've shared the link on my page, and I will continue to share their stuff like everywhere. So this thing is amazing and hard to figure out still. So, hi Ron, I'm glad you came. We'll get to you soon.
Hi, I was in bed and completely forgot about this and was half asleep, and then saw your text message, and I thought, oh yeah, maybe I should jump in on that.
Crazy cooter.
Yeah. Because I have asked so many people to come. You guys are the ones that I have got to come. And yes, this is another one of those people that Patty found at Hell's Dungeon and talked them into coming over and make it more anthologies with her. So, anyway, was there anything
my background
else that
now from Now that I got the second book out, I need to change my background.
Yeah.
Yes, at some point. In theory, she sent you a thingy to do so. Raz, was there anything else awesome about this book you'd like to tell us? This story, I mean.
It was also loosely based on a relationship that I had in '96. It was someone that I had met, and I was with for a good couple of years until she moved. Her and her family had to move military purposes. So this was also kind of a situation that where we had originally met. We went to school together, but we had both volunteered to work at this music festival together at the same time. So it's kind of a fun life throwback to that as well. It's a person I'm good friends with now, like over the years. So
that rocks.
Ori.
So please, everybody, go check out the Summer of '96. Either listen to it, enjoy it, and then decide whether or not it is about getting your own copy so you can keep it.
Yeah. Or better yet, buy the copy, and when you turn to the story, listen while you read along.
There's that too. I have put the links up above and below, or wherever links go, wherever you are. It keeps changing. Pyle, tell us about your story.
Well, it's about a man that you cannot see on a podcast. Oh no, that's what's going on right now. My story is all about a artist trying to get his artwork out into the wonderful world, and he does it in the most wonderful ways of leaving it on back roads where he can see people enjoying his artwork, and he doesn't really want to take credit for it, so he doesn't put his name on it or anything like that. But the beautiful thing about his artwork is that anyone can become his artwork, because everybody is a masterpiece that just needs to be released. Um, so yeah, that's basically most of it in a roundabout way. But yeah, the character absolutely just loves going into detail on how he does what he does, and um, he just can't wait to get into the next masterpiece, which you just might find on a abandoned road or off to the side of a busy highway, or any place that you can find random items, because that's where you'll find his artwork.
It sounds
So yeah,
awesome.
it's very, very interesting. Might be a short story, but some short stories you just can't wait to see how they take off, and perhaps there'll be more to it in the future, because who knows? Everybody knows a person that's struggling with their own type of artwork.
I know that feel well.
Okay, so yes, and he meets people along the way that he decides whether or not they're just random customers of the store, or people he wants to become better than what they are.
Yes, he's very, very particular on who he chooses, and he makes sure that they want to be around him so he can figure out what kind of masterpiece that they're going to turn into. It's not just your regular, oh, look at her. I can murder her. Oh, no, no. And it's not really murdering when you're releasing someone's body into being a artistic piece. Now, is it?
I wouldn't say so. I would say that in some people's eyes, you are making them more than they ever knew they could become.
Exactly. And the oddest thing about this is this was done in the principle of, you know, what would happen if a person just decided that they wanted to make a sculpture out of someone's bones, and then after it was already done and figured out, yes, we're done with this story. Um, I was reminded of a expo that goes around the world called Bodies, and
Body Worlds?
yeah, I just
Yeah.
didn't even think about that when I was doing this. But after it, oh look, uh, they're doing it legally. My character's not.
No.
They're doing it legally, but there are a lot of other countries that have tried to do the same thing, and they're just buying bodies off the black market and doing that. So, depending on which one you're going to see, if you're seeing the actual Gunther von Hagen Body Worlds, that one is legal. People donate their bodies to it. There are other ones where you're going and you're seeing potentially murder victims. So, keep that in
Yeah.
mind if you go
That
to check out the bootleg versions. That means a whole different thing in that field of art.
Oh yeah, and absolutely. But my character, he just needs to express himself, and you know, it just when he sees something, he really wants that person to be okay to experience this out of body experience in a way. So he makes sure that they are very comfortable around him.
That sounds very nice.
yeah.
This kind of reminds me a little bit of the Dexter Darkly book series, which is they made into the TV show Dexter. And one of them, there's something taking place in New York with these performance art pieces where people are like cutting their own legs off and doing like crazy shit like that. And it turns out there's like this guy behind it, like coercing people into doing it, and it's a great story.
Oh yeah. Dude, yes, Pile, I do recommend listening to all the Dexter books. They're
I
definitely one of my favorite series.
I'm always up for a good story.
I I have been scolded because I was told that Dexter is absolutely my thing, and I have not read or watched anything Dexter, so it has been presented for me by Leo Pond. He was just like, I am going to give you all of the Dexter, and you are going to watch all of the Dexter. And I'm
The,
like, okay, I
the
will watch all of
show's
the Dexter.
decent. I mean, it's a decent show. The last real season, the end of the initial run of the show was garbage, and I haven't seen any of the newer stuff they've been coming out and doing lately. But the books were pretty genius, in my opinion.
Okay.
The books. Read the books. The only reason I'm telling him listen to them is because, well, obviously the severe dyslexia. It is so worth having the books and listening to them over and over again, which I have done for years. Okay. Dude, there's so many questions. I'm trying to figure out what not to ask to give too many spoilers.
I
Because there's
know.
a whole lot of. Dude,
He
tell
takes
them about while you were telling us when you were sending the voice to text how you were the body movements you were making.
yeah. So in the weirdest way possible, this is a thing that when he goes and really gets excited about this whole situation, he will actually start to rub himself across the chest and be just, oh my gosh, this is such a wonderful feeling type fellow. Uh, do I recommend anybody doing this to dead bodies? Absolutely not.
That's
But
called necrophilia.
yeah. Well, he doesn't want to make love to him. He just, yeah. He gets a certain great feeling as he works upon these. Or as he pictures himself doing stuff with what is going to be the biggest masterpiece.
Okay. So, hey, since Ron is falling asleep, let's give him something to get his brain working. You have 2 stories in the books, one in each book. And you read parts of one on Corpse Garden Chronicles. Tell us about that one first.
Remind me which one I read.
Hey, Joy.
The one with the banshee and the cop.
Yes. The Case of the Banshee House, I believe, is the one that I read. This one spawned from a flash fiction story, which I believe you published in the newsletter called B&E, Breaking and Entering. It is a continuation of that flash fiction story. I realized that I could use it to set up a recurring character, which I've had the idea for a while now, and it will be a stay tuned. He will be back because I plan on writing future stories with this particular character. He is a private investigator named Mason Giles, who has special gifts due to certain attributes, I think is the best way to describe it. Without going too much into detail, he has a demon inside him, and the demon has powers which manifest through Mason, which I think is the easiest way to describe it. I've been thinking about this character for a while and what kind of cases that he could solve using his demon abilities. I'm trying to work all of these stories together into one full-on novel-length book. It won't be a novel in the sense that it's one story, but it will be a novel in the sense that it's several short stories contained into one volume, which will complete the whole story, if that makes sense.
Kind of like Sherlock Holmes. You get a bunch of shorts put together.
Yeah, something like that. So rather than a collection of short stories which have nothing to do with each other, it'll be a collection of short stories all centered around one main character that, when you put them together, will give you a broader picture of the world that Mason Giles lives in and the kind of things that he has to deal with.
Very cool.
So I don't know how long it's going to take before I actually get to that point. I still have a couple more stories left to write. One will include his backstory on why he has a demon inside him. And then one big case, which will probably take up the majority of the actual novel itself. It's going to be a while before I get to that point, but the working title right now is From the Files of Mason Giles.
That rhymes.
I know, that's why I chose it.
Nice.
That rhymes. And you have you have a thing for these types of titles. I'm thinking you're building. You know, the last entry of
Grant Gilson.
Grant Gilson. I wanted to call him Gills for some odd reason. Last entry of Grant Gilson, and then from the files. It's a thing about literary. So the Banshee and the clock and the everything coming together. How did you get the idea of it all fitting together?
The case of the Banshee house was actually, I had to really think about that one for a bit to decide where I wanted to go. If it was going to be an actual supernatural occurrence, or if it was going to be some plausible explanation. And in this case, it turned out to be a little bit of both. I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't read the story yet, but it's because of Mason's demon abilities that he was able to put the pieces together and figure out what was actually going on. It's easier to say he can see what others can't see, if that makes sense. So he has more of a
It
connection
gives
to the
him
supernatural.
abilities.
Yeah, he has more of a connection to the supernatural than the detective or his partner do. They, aren't supernatural at all. And the detective, of course, he's been on the force for 30 years and he's never seen anything like this before. So the detective, while he's more or less the main character of the case of the Banshee house, he will be a supporting character moving forward. He'll still be a recurring character as the stories go on, feeding Mason cases that the detective can't solve. So he'll be more of a supporting character, but he won't be gone completely. And there will be other characters that are introduced, and some of them have their own interesting backstories. And this is why I want to try to introduce it as kind of like a framework plot, so that I can do individual stories for each one of these characters and then combine them all into the one volume.
Right.
He doesn't do anything like "Gone, gone, the form of man, rise the demon Etrigan," does he? Or
No, he's far more sarcastic and just DGAF than most other people.
more sarcastic than Etrigan? I must yes.
I can't say that he is more sarcastic than Etrigan, but I can say he is a very sarcastic guy.
He's not stuck in rhyming and iambic pentameter.
No, he's
No, he's not.
he's a pretty hardcore street private detective, and most of his DGAF comes from the fact that nothing can really hurt him because of his demon nature.
Nice.
We got to do a crossover story between my what is it? My Seth character, my modern day bard. That would actually probably be pretty hilarious.
That would be epic. Okay, I have looked so I can tell you where things are. Pyle's story is in Buried Secrets with his with Ron's story. Hold on, I'm working on getting you the correct title of Ron's story. The Case of the Banshee House. Both are together in at least I think it's here. Hold on, I'm rechecking yep. Both Pyle's I Am an Artist are and The Case of the Banshee House are in Buried Secrets. His Killing May story that he's fixing to tell you about are with My Poems and Raz's story in Imminent Bloodbath. So, tell us a little bit about the Killing Maze.
The Killing Maze, the main character in that one, is a soldier who was recently released from active duty for some questionable decisions he made, which resulted in the death of a lieutenant general. So he finds himself back at square one, trying to figure out what to do next in his life, and ends up back in his hometown, where he runs into an old friend, so to speak, or a college buddy, who, while they have an amicable relationship, they've never actually been friends. And it turns out that this college buddy has become a professional hitman, and he's been in the game for so long that he doesn't really find any enjoyment in the job anymore. So he starts hunting people for sport, and he sees our main character, John, as a possible good competition, because he's a soldier who's trained to kill, and he wants to know basically what was going through his head in that moment, that he killed the lieutenant general, if in fact he did actually kill the lieutenant general. So it's a cat and mouse story, where John's being chased through an old junkyard, which has been built up precisely for the purpose of people acting out their inner desires to hunt and kill people.
That one I have read, and I really, really enjoyed it.
And this sort of spawned its own little universe, actually, because in the making of it, I had to come up with some history for why this place even exists. And I didn't really want to go into, there's a whole society behind it, that of people that would actually know about this place and use it, and have their own little secret society. But Raz read it and he's like, lean into it, make it happen.
I love this
because
story so much, man.
he,
It's so
he
well
liked
written.
that aspect of it. So I was like, all right, well then, I'll because that's how I had originally wrote it in the rough draft. And then when I went through and I rewrote it and I took all of that out, and then Raz was like, no, put it back in. So when I did the next rewrite of it, I went back through and I really had to think about, okay, I need some background story on this. I need some details. If there's actually going to be a secret society of serial killers or professional assassins that know about this place, I need to come up with like how it would all work and everything like that. So Mike, the professional assassin in the story, his family is connected to this killing maze. So I really had to think about how that came to be. And Mike's family is mafia. So
Will we get to, in the future, learn more about the two side characters that they encounter entering and leaving the maze?
oh, the old woman and the man that are dancing around the burning victim.
Yes, I
Uh,
really enjoyed them.
I don't know. I hadn't actually thought about it. They're a husband and wife killer team that really devise some intricate ways of torturing and yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. I hadn't thought about it. Just like this story ends with John essentially taking Mike's place and accepting a job to go to Colombia to assassin, a political leader. But I hadn't actually thought about writing a sequel to it. I thought that the story worked as a standalone as is. I hadn't actually thought about writing a sequel, but I don't know. There's always a possibility of it. It leaves itself open for one. So maybe in the future, if the story is there, if the idea is good enough, then the world may develop, and you might always get a side story or spin-off of the husband and wife killer team.
I feel like you should do a book, a Mason Giles book, about
Hmm.
the Killing Maze and these characters. I feel like those two worlds are very complementary to each other, and they could be the same world.
The same world. I don't know, because that means that I would have to introduce the supernatural into the Killing Maze, and I'm not entirely certain I like that idea.
Fair.
That would make
Yeah, I
it too
think
easy, really. If you start introducing the supernatural into the Killing Maze, then it sort of takes away the sport, of the cat and mouse, hunting
Not
prey, because the
necessarily.
supernatural is, much more powerful. It's too easy to kill its victims.
Not unless you keep it where certain people are not supernaturally inclined and others are.
The only way I could think of how that might work is if you have a professional assassin such as Mike, and he's hunting supernatural prey,
then that would be
in
very
order to make
interesting.
trophies out of it. And it's the kind of thing that Mason Giles, who is supernaturally aligned, might get wind of, and then he would have to go seek out Mike, the supernatural hunter,
Right.
put a stop to what he's doing. Something like that might work, although I don't know, I'm not too entirely certain I want the two worlds to be the same like that.
It's up to you, dude.
Yeah, I like the idea, but I think it's the kind of thing where I could see Mason taking on a case like that, but it has nothing to do with the Killing Maze itself.
That could work too, yeah. The
Okay.
concept of it.
Okay. Is there anything else really awesome you want to tell about your two tales?
Like I said, Mason Giles will return. He has a mentor, rather more like an uncle figure, even though he's not technically related to him. He has a mentor. The mentor name is Professor Rado. Rado runs an academy for the supernatural and people who have an inherent proclivity toward witchcraft. So he teaches witches and wizards and things like that. Rado, in and of himself, is very supernatural and has some unique abilities which nobody else has. And that's one of the stories that I plan on writing is Rado's backstory and how he came to start his academy and teaching witchcraft.
I am
So-
very interested.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to actually get into it, but before I can do that, I've got the short story, I think, for February's the fairy tales. I'm actually doing a kind of a different spin on a Little Red Riding Hood story
Okay.
to submit to that anthology. And I would say it's about halfway done. I just, because of haunt season, I haven't really had the energy or the time to write. And then I want to get back to my pirate story, which I have started, and that will be a separate standalone novel. And it will probably only be one book. I don't foresee any sequels coming to it. The pirate story, I'm hoping to have that one done and published by May of next year when we have our Buckeye Lake Pirate Festival.
Nice.
We've got a couple of Pirate Fests coming up next summer, so I'd like to have it out by then so I can try to sell them at the festival as well.
Are you going to use one of your pictures of you as a pirate as your author picture for that?
That is entirely possible. That's a good
Yes.
idea. I like that idea.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Pile. Was there anything else really awesome, or you just wanted to add about your story?
You're muted, by the way.
Are you still here, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here. I was hacking and coughing. I didn't feel like that was the best time. But
No.
My story is like just one of those stories that, you hope like hell this person doesn't actually exist in a big city where you can buy random finds, because you just hope that this does not exist. I know that there are some truly interesting and terrible people out there, but there again, you just hope this person doesn't actually exist.
Yeah.
Unless you
I
like
think
artistic talents and then you want to donate yourself, then go for it. Find the person and tell them, do your will.
Yeah. That is a thing. Okay.
The most
With-
interesting newspaper ad ever.
Oh yeah, no, there is a newspaper ad that he tells us about in the story. So, yeah.
I can also tell everybody, true artistic talent is in the beholder's eyes. So,
True.
Just because you don't think it's artistic talent doesn't mean that they don't feel it is artistic.
This is very true.
That is also true. Okay. This is round about the time where you guys get to ask me questions after I tell you about both my poems in Imminent Bloodbath. The Huntress is a mix of Dexter and Olivia by hold on, what was his name? Malcolm Tanner. And so I love both of those series / story a lot. And in The Huntress, she goes to the bars and she finds the most obnoxious scumbag, the ones that she knows is out to take advantage, push themselves on you, be the reason you wake up in the morning drugged and you don't know what's going on, and so on and so forth. So she finds the lowest of the low, the most garbage men, and she takes them home. And she gets them all riled up and ready to go. And then she just ends them, and they become toys to take. Basically, I'm not quite sure what she does with them afterwards. I just know they're no longer breathing and will never hurt anybody again. And
Sounds like
Yeah.
she needs a killing maze.
yeah, she has her own version. There's a few bars in town, or close enough for her to. Hers is just a different playing field. Then the
How does she
other
dispose of
one,
the bodies?
you know those family barbecues and the shelters that take meat? Her family has their own butcher service. And she sneaks it in with the other pork products.
Nice. Very Sawyer family.
Best little barbecue in Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
So what you're saying is, it's gonna be a wonderful meat pie.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're never going to have better ribs. She's just very careful not to give anybody the brains.
Is anyone in her family a barber by chance?
That's what I was
Uh,
thinking too. Just saying.
As much as I love the stories, that never came in.
Missed opportunity.
You must have fleet feet when you go down the street to this barbecue joint.
Exactly.
Does their food, is it so delicious that it feels like it deserves to be part of you?
Mm,
Is it a work of art?
no one has ever complained about the meat quality at their butchers.
No one's
Grade
ever
8 or
complained.
human.
No one's ever complained at Tie Hand either.
Well, no. And we are going to get that done. Okay.
Well, if you are
My
what you
next
eat,
one.
You know, if you are who you eat.
My next one is an ode
you
to
know who
Dr.
you-
Raz T. Slasher and his Jim's Cabin series.
Nice.
I had wondered what it would be like to be part of the one of the situations. So I had set it up where this one couple had went into the woods for their first camping trip together, and they had not realized that they had left the park area and went on his property. And the thing is, he doesn't like people coming on his property, so there's
Oh, no.
traps in all sorts of gruesome traps in places. And they get in a fight and they find them. And they find out what type of man he truly is. And I hope that you feel like it's a good ode to you and Jim.
I honestly really, really enjoyed the story. Considering Jim is a combination of my father and Ed Gein.
Oh, cool. That is like the best. And I don't know if Malcolm Tanner's going to ever read The Huntress, but I did also dedicate that to him. He had been in the same episode of, what was it? Reality of Delusions that Jimmy's Toys was in.
Yeah.
And that story, both stories, Jimmy's Toys is terrifying as a mother. One of the most terrifying things. And yeah, I do recommend going and listen to that episode and listen to all the stories. And well, I just generally recommend Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. But sorry about that. I forgot about the alarm. And yeah, please. And please get our anthologies. Did you guys have any questions about either of the poems?
Not offhand,
I-
honestly. I had talked to you a lot about the ode to Jim prior to this. And the other one, like the couple questions I had, you kind of answered while you were talking about it, because I was going to ask you, how they are the bodies and other stuff, but we kind of ended up talking about that anyway.
Oh yeah, there's just this place under her bedroom floor that she hides them until she can get them to her family's place.
Nice.
Please
always
don't
good to age
forget
your
to
meat.
refrigerate your friends.
Right.
And that's why she has freezers.
It's like the fashion shows when models coming down the runway, and then the reporter asks them, "Who are you wearing?" And, in this case, it's "Who are
Right.
you eating?"
Mm-hmm.
I had said you are what you eat. So if you do that for like during until you digest the person, do you have these urges that they had to be a complete asshole?
There's an old Native American story like that, very similar to the Skinwalkers. It's kind of similar to the vibe of that, where they always say that you eat the heart of your enemy. That's a very old thing to gain like the powers and the abilities. But what if you did gain the urges, and the thoughts, and the hobbies, or other aspects of your enemies or your victims?
I have never had the let me put it this way. I was not old enough to think about that. The one time I did meet somebody who could answer that question. No, I'm not going into that story because I don't fully remember it or understand what was happening. But I am just going to say I didn't, that never crossed my mind to ask. That was a
So
weird day.
I've always said you should love the skin you're in, if not be like Leatherface.
It puts the lotion on its skin, or else it gets
And
the hose again.
no, that's not Leatherface.
No, it's not. But it's based on the same serial killer. It's all
He was more of a ghoul. He did kill people, but only when he got backed into a corner.
yeah, but he did wear things.
Yeah, he did. Ed Gein, everybody. Let's give it up.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of the show iZombie, where
that was a good one.
girl that works in the forensic lab, becomes a zombie, and she has to eat brains to survive. But when she does, then she gains the memories of the person whose brain she's eating, and then she uses those memories in order to solve the crimes. And I'm wondering, if you have a character that eats the person and starts gaining their memories, if you eat enough of them, do you start having an identity crisis, not knowing who you are?
It's possible. By the way, that's based on a pretty awesome comic series too.
Maybe they only eat the sad people. That way they can appreciate their life.
No, only the emo ones, the emo zombies. That's kind of how they do that. They stay emo forever.
Is that based off of Chew
I can't remember. Possibly.
by Jonathan Lehman? They have the FDA has this one little thing where there are certain people who like if they can eat something, they can see what happened in the past. With the others, like can write something so good about food that people feel it. They all have food based abilities, and it's really strange, but it's an
So
interesting comic.
let me ask this, okay? Um, and this probably has nothing to do with your books or anything like this, but it's a really good question. If you would gain the ability of the memories of what you ate, would you rather have the memory of being a cow or being a blade of grass that gets repeatedly stomped and pooped on by the dog?
It's just a metaphor for life.
I'm just asking that, you know?
I was told a story when I was younger. This one bird had frozen to the point of nearly death. And it had fallen out of this tree in the pasture, and the cow had pooped on it. And the poop had been warm enough to bring it back to thawed and happy, and it started singing. And then the cat came over, found it, drug it over out of it, and ate it. The moral of the story is when you're in a good situation, keep your mouth shut. No matter if it seems kind of crappy. If there is good, keep your mouth shut so bad things don't continue to happen, even though good things have happened. So, but in all honesty, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be the bird or the blade of wrath or even know what Bessie was thinking before she died.
Side note, Dell, it was actually based on a comic with the same name, My Zombie by Vertigo in DC.
Ah, okay. She was just one of those very weird ones with people who have all these food powers that are strange. And they make him eat the most disgusting things. Like, we need to solve this case. Here's a finger that we found. It's 3 months old and rotting. Here you go. Try
Yep.
it. Let's know what happens. I think, Pyle, I would I think I would eat goat because I would like to know what it had been like to be a goat. You know, like I don't think I could bring myself to eat a cat, even though I think it would be incredibly nice to know what it was like to be a cat. But
Stay out of
I'm, s-
Springfield, Ohio.
I'm so glad I brought this to the table now.
yeah, but I would like to know what it was like to be a goat, and I wouldn't feel terrible about eating a goat.
You know, a goat's life is really simple. It's not too bad.
But like then you became a talking goat. Then an old guy found you and tried to give you a present to his wife, who leaves him. Then he chains you up and leaves you on the back of his truck.
Thank God that's a sheep.
It's judging you.
I think though in your like your thought process about the blade of grass and the poop and etc. I'd like to be the poop because then I could become a monster.
So
It's
this
judging you.
Yes,
already.
and I would forget that I ate corn exactly a week ago.
I don't know where I had planned on taking this, but somehow we ended up in the weirdest situation of
Well, we
I
were
mean,
talking about eating things,
my
and
story brought us this to the situation I do know, but
It's only because Pyle posed a question.
yeah.
well,
Okay then.
it's just one of those things that if you were living the memory of a cow, you're in a barn, you're this and that, or you're out in the field, or this and that. Grass doesn't do nothing. So, if you eat grass, but if you eat corn, you just stay still. I mean, it would be a very boring thing, and it would make me not want to eat vegetables even more because they don't do nothing.
So my sister's ex from like way long ago, like college days, um, was a vegetarian, and he learned that there was some scientific study they did where they hooked broccoli up to electrodes, and then when they cut it off, like kill the broccoli, it actually registers as like on an EEG scale or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the study exactly. I didn't look it up, but he was explaining it. So he thought broccoli could think, so he wouldn't eat broccoli.
I I'm just gonna say I love this one comment that was left. That's what I'm gonna say.
I think I would eat squirrel because it would definitely be nutty. And I kind of want to know why, like, they run out in front of cars and then scramble at the last minute to try to make you swerve and like crash on the trees and stuff. And why do they do the things that squirrels do? And if you're running low on energy, would eating a squirrel like give you tons of energy and make you squirrel out?
It's because they're alcoholics.
yep.
No, you do not get the energy from the squirrel.
No, but you get a
I
show
can tell
from
you
a
that
squirrel.
much.
Yeah.
You don't get the energy, unfortunately. I'm sorry to tell you. And yeah.
Would I have a deeper connection to like the Norse god and understand more about mythology and stuff?
I think you would
I
become more
can't say
forgetful.
no. I can definitely say no to that one as well.
You know, I feel like that should be one of those Mayhem commercials where he comes out acting like a squirrel.
That,
You know?
yeah.
I'm just saying. Here I
And
am, a little squirrel. You don't dare hit me. I'm too cute and adorable, and your vehicle is full of children. That's why you have to have
because
good insurance.
I do recommend squirrel chili, though.
Indeed.
You guys are terrifying poor Ratatosker here. I'm like, I'm going to have to
I'm
give
not
him
trying.
more and more.
I
Ooze.
there. So there were many times in my life where there was lack of money to buy said food. So there was my dad could only come up with one way to feed us. It was like deer and squirrels. It was never rabbits because I would die. And stuff like that, game and vegetables from family's gardens and things you can make with flour.
I
So
know.
I'm not trying to terrify him. I'm just saying we were poor.
He just said little squirrel drunk. And Stefan, you don't need to have Loki as a squirrel because Ratatosker exists in Norse mythology. That's where just this little guy came from. He left Yggdrasil to hang out with me because I needed help. Needed something to keep me off track.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I have been trying to get us on track and we keep going off track. Sometimes I'm not sure where if we're on track, but I think tracks are taking us in the entire different area of the holler I planned on going.
There are no tracks. There is only Zool.
Hey, I'm
You
I'm
know?
I'm all for the book. And what books we're going to come up with next time, because I'll
Okay,
tell you.
so that
What?
means that you need to come up with a fairy tale reimagining, Pile and Raz.
For what? Well,
That
what
is the
should I
thing.
do? Fairy tale.
I don't know. Pick a fairy tale. Any fairy tale you like. And reimagine the story. Because Dell, I've just it's one of those. You were going to be in the anthology with us, so you have another anthology on your belt, and then you can go from there and put it in your story collection later. But then you'll have something else under your belt to get your name out there more.
I will
So
have to
you
think
guys are
about
going to
this.
join. We're going to figure out how to join her into a fun story.
I'm going to try to figure out this story, but first I've got to get the thought of Pink Pony Girl being sung by Miss Piggy.
Wow.
Oh yeah, dear watchers, if you would like to write a fairy tale reimagining story and join us, we have the call up in all the places on all the socials. Go look at it and please join us. You're all welcome to join us. These are just the only people that said, "Yeah, I'll be there tonight."
I'll definitely be doing
Because I
it.
have asked over and over again for all the peoples.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were the ones that said, "Yeah, I'll join you on the show tonight." I don't want people to think we're just the boys only club. No, I did give them invitations to be on Unprinted Pages. So far, I get to have a very early morning with David Cornford. You must read his story. I cannot pronounce that character's name for the life of me, but it is a character that lives off the life force of others. It is like the first story in the dude, I know this. Let me find his name again. Where was it? Yeah, Drops of Blood by David Cornford. This guy lives by taking the life force out of others. He finds out that he is mutated in a way, and he finds his own way moving forward. This guy loves to write epic fantasy, and I get to meet him Tuesday morning really early because he's in a whole different country. So, yeah,
Nice.
I can't wait to get him on this show, and I want you guys to go check out his stuff.
Cool.
So, yeah, I'm going to see if he'll join us for the next one, if he can do a fairy tale reimagining and join us again, because his story was great. So, guys, was there anything else about any story you've written? Well, for Dell, any story you've written, and gentlemen, for your stories that you've added to these two anthologies that you want to share?
Stefan would like us to do Hitler in Neverland being killed by the Mad Hatter.
Okay,
Wow.
so the producers was remade into a musical, and it had the guy that played Captain Jack in Doctor Who. He was singing Springtime for Hitler in Germany. And that is the only thing that comes to mind when he says that. And yeah.
Well, I'm thinking
mind
that Neverland was Peter Pan, but the Mad Hatter was Wonderland, which was Alice. So I'm wondering if he's mixing his fantasy genres there.
He can mix them.
Well,
You know what, Steven? You write it and you turn it in.
Yeah.
You be in one of our anthologies this time instead of us joining yours. Okay?
I have a story somewhere as far as the fairy tale things goes that it's based off of Bluebeard, but you really can't tell. It's like it was a Reddit prompt, and it was just like, am I the asshole, or one of those kind of things, and you have the TLDR at the bottom, but it's like this guy like, man, I got this woman and I did this and blah 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 blah, and it tells the whole story, but it's from this really like now pop cultural talking kind of slang and everything, and it was like TLDR, bitches be crazy. And
That was a good one. I remember that.
yeah, that was a really fun story to write, but there were so many people who were like, which story is it? I'm like, how many of you have not heard of Bluebeard? Like, apparently I'm like the only person who knows it. I don't know.
No, you're
No,
not.
Blueberry is amazing.
Yeah.
It's not Dante, shush, go. CM Haynes has recently put out a new story about Bluebeard. Hold on, let me find it because I have it hidden in my Kindle. I have what is it called?
He's been in my head a lot lately. I just got done reading The Shining, and Bluebeard is brought up there. And a show I was watching a while back, they were bringing up a character, and it was like, oh yeah, he was very Bluebeardian in the way that he behaved, but people were like, what's that?
Cursed by Darkness she has also put out, please go read Cursed by Darkness by CMA Haynes. She knows how awesome the idea is, and you both could have such a great conversation.
Yeah, people stared at me when I had Madeline when she was like 6, sitting in the coffee house we were playing with puppets, and like I did the story of Bluebeard, and people were like, "What in the hell is wrong with you teaching that story to a kid?" And then I was like, I handed her the puppets to tell her story, and she invented the concept of a siren on her own. Like she'd never heard of one before, but she had like this penguin that got stuck out on the ice, and or no, there was something out. There was the mermaid was out in the ice, and it lured the penguin to it by singing, and then it killed the penguin. But she was like, "Yeah, and they can't stop listening to her singing, so it has." But we'd never told her any stories about sirens before, and they were like, "Okay, not just what's wrong with you, what's wrong with her?" I'm like, you know,
she's yours. What do you expect? I've had that. Do you have any idea? There's been 5 times that the counselors have called because these are my kids, okay? They are my kids through and through, and they've said something off the chain because it worked in their little stories that they have made, but it does not work for school. And I realize how bad I've corrupted them. So I know who to blame for this. What were you saying, Raz?
I was just laughing.
So yeah, I get this. I really do. And I've had to, like, ladies, this is great for home, for us talking. We can't talk about that at school, but we have a place. And Patty wants to see all of it. We can put it in the army, but it can't go to school. So yeah.
yep.
In terms of additional story stuff, I would recommend people like look at the dates mentioned in the story closely, and I would highly recommend the song "The Damn It Otter Creek" by the band Live while you read.
I haven't heard that one before. I love Live.
It was from the Throwing Copper album. Definitely one of their B-sides on that.
Okay. Shall have to. I will find it after the show and share it on Friday. Because all this stuff I've been talking about, I have shared on Friday. Because with it being my show, it's all on my page today. So, okay. Where do you want people to find you, Raz?
In my pants. No, you can find me on RazTSlasher.com. You just type in RazTSlasher, you're gonna pretty much find me everywhere.
Yes.
You will.
Ron, where do you want
especially hold on, if you're living in this area or in Ohio or you want to take a trip, you can definitely find me at Hell's Dungeon Haunted House for one last weekend this Friday and Saturday.
Epic. Yes, my kid had a request about a pullover from there. So I need to get with you about how to get one of those. Okay. Ron, where do you want people to find you?
Find me at Hell's Dungeon next weekend, I suppose.
That sounds awesome.
I already have a pullover from there, and no, you can't have it.
No, that's why I'm trying to get a separate one that is not yours. Because the one she got from Pyle, she has worn to school every day since she got it. She has worn it over the weekend. She has worn it to school.
Oh, yeah.
We've had to wrestle it from her to wash it and then let her continue wearing it. So I need you to understand that. And you saw the picture of the book in the backpack, Raz. She has told her teachers, she has told her friends, she has told them, you have to read this book. This is a great book.
That's awesome.
So Pile, where do you want people to find you?
You wouldn't be able to wear our pullover to school. It does say hell on it.
That's true.
Yeah, that might not be something she'd get to wear, but she'd still get to have the pullover.
True.
She could wear it outside of school. She can
Yeah.
wear chainers at school and then switch into hell at home.
Yeah, and wear it over the weekend and let us watch the other one.
Yeah. You can find me here. You can find me on a lot of shows here. You can also find me in a couple of books, and I do have a question for everybody that's trying to find me. Did you put the candy out for Pumpkin Paul?
Yes.
The candy was everywhere, all over Newton for Pumpkin Paul. I hope he found it, and I hope he enjoyed every single piece that they had left for him everywhere around.
Stefan did not. He also thinks we should create an antho called Schadenfreude. I am a big practicer of this.
Schadenfreude? That would be interesting. I have not thought about how to even conceptualize Schadenfreude.
Oh, I have.
Adelaide.
Yeah, but how to get everybody on the same page of their version of it happening for an so we can do that. Oh, and we also need to talk about the Haunters, about that one anthology Pyle and I was and Pyle and his name
Max.
is not Mark.
Max.
I love
Smith.
Max. My little redheaded friend. Well, not so little. The redheaded friend. Our
He's
redheaded friend. We need to get about the Haunters giving their backstories.
Yes.
Please. Because I need
For
you
their
to...
characters or for the Haunter themselves?
No, your character.
I've got one ready for that already.
Yes.
Well,
That is what I
do
told
too.
them.
I've just never written it down.
So write it down. We need it.
Well, let me put that on my list of projects that need to be written at some point.
How about this
Yeah,
for an anthology? One person writes a story about a group of people, a really fucked up story, right? Horror, obviously. And then everyone else writes the same story from a different character's point of view. Only one person is telling the truth about the series of events, and we called it Unreliable Narrators.
This sounds more like
You
a police
know?
interrogation.
More like Clue.
Yeah. There's another one. I can't remember it. Okay. So I would like to thank everybody for being here. I would like to thank everybody for being in these anthologies with me. And I'd like to thank Dell for coming and hanging out and adding all the things. And thank you, viewers, for coming and talking. And Stefan, I need you guys to go find Fractured Mind Publishing and check out their stuff.
Yes.
I keep two the other, hand me that bag, Josh. I had it in the Keep Salty bag, but my kid needed the bag more, so Josh got me this bag. So I need you guys to know that I keep these anthologies with me everywhere. I do have the paperback that Dell had given me of this one, but I figured, dang it, I have papers on everything. So yes, here are just two of them. There are a bunch of others that you guys need to go check out. And
I'm close to done with another
please-
Mythos story too, man. We need to get back together again.
Oh yeah.
Need to get the band back.
Yeah. We're on a mission from God.
We're on a mission from Cthulhu.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. We're on a mission from Cthulhu.
We're on math.
But anyway,
Wow. That explains a lot about this this channel.
Yeah. So either way, the meth
Meth
isn't
is
mething. I
bad.
have issues. I need a nap. But anyway, thank you all for being here. And since we keep talking about Mr. Redhead,
Hey everyone, I'm Maximus Christian Bryant, president of the Ohio Haunters Association, and you are watching Chainer's Haunted Secrets on the Owlite Network. And I wanted to invite you all to come see the Ohio Haunters Convention on May 9th and 10th in 2026 at the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. See you there.
Yeah.
Just to verify, I'm going to have to inform him he lied because we are not on Chainer's Haunted Secrets. He'll get so confused. He'll be like,
no,
"Did I say this
at
wrong?"
some point, yes,
Yeah.
at some point
I
I
was
want to get him
confused
to
about
say,
that. I thought we were
do
doing a
one for
different
here.
show.
Yeah, I want to get him to do one for my my two shows at some point. I just need you to help me figure out how to get it recorded, how to ambush him. But either way, I love you, gentlemen. I love you, lady, and I love all my viewers. Thank you for being here,
And
and I
Matt.
hope everybody has a wonderful night. I hope you listen to the stories. I hope you read the books because Serena has done a reading of hers that I've shared on Friday as well, of her story changes in the anthologies.
Yeah.
So I think it's in Buried Secrets. So yes, please go listen to that. It was awesome and I loved the story. And I think that's everything. If
I
not,
forgot
I'll share
something.
it later.
I
What?
forgot something. Follow us the links that we have posted around. I am part of the Evil Idol audio voiceover contest on Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. Check out my story, and if you like it, give it a thumbs up.
That is also shared on the page as well. You can find it on Friday's Disorganized Library. And please go listen to all the videos, read all the books, and thank you for being here. I forgot to say it, but I did share it.
All right.